There are many myths, legends, and misconceptions surrounding the understanding of the angelic realm and what an angelic messenger really is. Who are these beings and what is their purpose? Why do they exist? Are they real? And why do we need them in our lives? Quote, an angelic is a being of high frequency energy that assists God and humans to reach their potential in life. They are neither human nor God, but an intermediary for God's love. Unquote, Archangel Nathaniel. Some believe they are to be controlled and to do our bidding, but this is not their purpose. However, our understanding is on a much deeper level as we connect to our angelic brothers and sisters on a daily basis. And we do have a unique and personal understanding and relationship of their purpose. In the infinity of life where each and every one of us are in this moment, resides God's messengers. These messengers are the arms of God's love. The angels of love and guidance are not human, but have the awareness of being human and many other forms. They are the light and help each and every one of us on our unique path to enlightenment. The purpose of enlightenment is to understand the self. It is important to understand that angelics do not control us. And I'll repeat that. Angelics do not control us. We are not governed by them or by any other being. They are free will beings as well and choose to assist us because that is their choice. We are here completely sovereign and free to make all our own choices. Their goal is to assist in developing your gifts and talents. They help open you up to the possibilities and lovingly guide you through each step of the life cycle. They enjoy their work because you will progress on your own unique paths, and they are very proud of you. They love you deeply. It's so important to know they do not control you, and helping others is all they do. Because you are not aware of their presence does not mean they don't exist. It simply means you are unaware of their presence and purpose in your life. In order to have a connection to them, you must lovingly ask for their help and be open to new ideas and concepts. A closed mind limits your ability to accept them. We enter into agreement before birth, a guardian angel, and this angel will be with us through our current incarnation. And some have been with us since our creation. How do you know you have an angel? When angels are near, some say you may notice a cool breeze or a dip in temperature in the room or feel a warm, loving presence close by. Some have experienced ringing in the ears or tingling on the crown of their head, which they believe are signs that angels are trying to communicate. Hey, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway and your channel for community support, love, friendship, knowledge, and being of value to others. Welcome back, subscribers. If you're new to the channel, it's always good to have new people coming on in. We appreciate that very much. Boy, we've got a really, really special show tonight, and this show was divinely guided by Spirit. And we just followed our hearts on this one. So can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and acknowledge everyone in chat. Chloe, Miss Chloe, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. Deborah Sloan, love it when you're here. Thank you so much. Let's see, we've got Scotty Boy. How you feeling, Scotty? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, we got Grumpy Stack. Good to have you with us, Doug. Always a pleasure. Hope things are going well. Hope Up Church. So good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Appreciate you in chat. Let's see who else we have. I have a lot of repeats, so I got to really scroll, so bear with me.
Truth Seeker. Wow, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I was thinking about you the other day. Hope all is well for you. Kelly, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Always a pleasure. Let's see who else we have. I think people are still kind of rolling in, but that seems to be the crux of it, so to speak.
The
Yeah.
chatters.
The
mad
chatters have
chatters.
arrived, the mad chatters in Andromeda, the Andromedans. Well, tonight I thought what we would do is we would get started with kind of our unique take. Now, Teresa and I have been working together for a little over 3 years now. We deal with this stuff on a daily basis. We're in pretty much constant contact with this kind of stuff. We kind of eat, live, and breathe this. And we always like to pass on what we've learned. Just to give folks who have not been here before a little background on how I know so much about the angelic realm. In 2018, my dad passed away, literally passed away in my arms. And I had had an understanding before he passed about the afterlife and how things worked. And I thought I had a pretty good handle on, how things worked. So I got really curious and I had started watching anything and everything I could find on YouTube that dealt with death, every aspect of it, what they do, right down to how they cremate you, everything I could possibly get my hands on. I ended up on a channel called Channeling Eric. And Channeling Eric's mom had started a blog for her grief. Eric had committed suicide in his early 20s and took his own life and left his family kind of reeling from all the grief. So her daughter talked her into creating this channel. So I'd been watching Channeling Eric, and a lot of you people are familiar with a Truth Seeker. I know you watched it. I hope there's others here that are aware of it. If you're not, just go to YouTube and put in Channeling Eric, and all that stuff will come up. I spent many, and I would say hundreds of hours, literally, no joke, no lie, watching everything I could on that channel. And I started all the way from the very beginning and worked my way through to the current time, which was in 2019. And I have been watching every single episode since. In the process of doing that, I learned that in order to get help, you had to ask for it. So I openly asked for Eric's help. And I would say about a week later, a lot of you know the story where my TV turned on and off 4 times in a row. I was like extremely exhausted, wanted to go to bed, and my TV kept popping on. Well, one of the things that Eric likes to do is he likes to mess with electronics. And boy, he got my attention, let me tell you. About the third time the TV popped on, I said in my mind, Eric, I know that's you. And if that's you, do it one more time and I'll believe. I will become a believer. And that's exactly what happened. I started to learn how to use the pendulum, and I was able to communicate with Eric. And then practically every day since, to be honest, I communicate with him on a regular basis. And I started asking all kinds of questions. Why are we here? What's life all about? What happens when you die? He connected me to loved ones. The next thing I know, I'm starting to get messages for my family. I'm able to give healing messages. So many things shifted and changed in my life. And when I first started talking to Eric, he was not an archangel at that point. So he'd been helping not just me, but thousands of others at the time. And in the process of doing that, he was able to reach a status and a label of archangel. So Archangel Eric Medhus has been helping me, and he is instrumental in getting me to come online, to even start my channel. I had started Pureloveascension. That was just to kind of talk about my ascension process and what was going on, and I was sharing with people. The next thing I know, I meet Teresa and some other people, and we begin this channel of Andromeda 7, and that was quite a learning experience. We went through some ebbs and flows with that, but now we're here today, 3 years later, every Friday night, 6 o'clock 7 Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we come on here and we talk about all things Ascension related, spiritual. We do esoteric topics and channelings and things like that. So this is my background on what I know about the angelic realm. Um, After conversing with Eric and getting to know him, we developed a really close friendship. He's like a brother to me. He's helped me in so many different ways. I've had so many paranormal things happen that I can't even write them all down. It's just there's so much. And I became a believer really quickly. I saw the changes in myself. I saw what was going on around the people around me, noticing me. And I think that um, when you learn to have love for yourself and you start really figuring out who you are, it changes you and you just become a completely different person. And I'm so blessed and honored to have had his help in all of this. And so this is one of the reasons we're here now, talking about the angelic realm, is because I've been nudged by spirit, as well as Teresa has been nudged. And we just want to share what we've learned and what we know. And when you have love in your heart, not only for yourself, but for others, the shift that can happen. And I went through physical ascension symptoms. I had 2 weeks. I could barely hear out of both ears. It was like I had earmuffs on the whole time. My skin hurt. I couldn't even touch my skin. I couldn't get comfortable. I had 10 days of just total discomfort. And that was because my vibration and my energy was changing in so many different ways. And my body had to physically catch up with what my mind was going through, because I was learning so many new concepts and ideas. And it became overwhelming. Um, but what we want to talk about tonight, Teresa, I thought maybe you could give a little bit of background on your experience with um, archangels.
Sure,
That's mine, so I've shared that, and so I thought maybe you could do that now.
sure. Well, they've apparently been with me since the beginning of the time that I was created. And I have my three key guys behind me here. I have Nathaniel in red behind me, and I have Gabriel over my shoulder, who's mostly in white. And then I have the energy of Raphael, who is healing, protection, and nature, who's often have more of a green like energy. And I wasn't aware of who they were per se when I was younger, but I've had so many close calls. I've talked about it on this show before, different stories of how different guardian angels have stepped in and out to help me protect me from harm. I think I have 9 lives like a cat because of them. And and then I have my angel guides, who are these three archangels, and there's others, and I have other guides as well. Um, but when it comes to the angelics, to me, they represent an energy that is connected to my own, in that I know that I'm infused with their energy as part of my very existence and being. So it's not just me, my higher self. It's also this hierarchy of higher dimensional beings who have been through many experiences and have interacted with humans, and they tell me this. And I only have to call on them, and they're here. Like Nathaniel's here right now. He's right here right now. So they never leave me. And some people say, "Oh, you schizophrenics are all alike." It's like, no, we're not schizophrenic. It's not that I'm actually seeing a physical person.
Did you
I'm
drink the Kool-Aid?
yeah, I'm feeling the energy. So, but I
Sip.
tell you, a lot of this, folks, is remembering back on situations.
Hmm.
Oh, that's what it was at the time. I didn't know what was going on, but the one that really brought this all to a head for me, this one story. I was in my mid-30s, and I had been a caregiver to my own mother for years, while my dad worked off-site in another location. Sometimes he worked from home, but most of the time she was alone, and she had multiple physical ailments as a diabetic, severe diabetic with emphysema, and lots of other problems. And I was holding down full-time jobs and coming home to that every day. And on the weekends, I was her arms and her legs for Christmas shopping, entertainment, you name it. And it got to the point where I came to a realization I needed a life of my own as well. And I wasn't doing so well on the interpersonal relationship side of things. So I decided to broaden my horizon, um, exercise more of my potential and creativity by taking a nationwide job that would involve traveling. It would take me all over the country and open me up technologically and for my business, and also help me to meet people, meet more people. And she begged me not to do it. She was so codependent on me, so dependent. And it was a convenience for my father because he couldn't deal with her sometimes. So I took that job, and I created that position in that company for myself. And after several meetings, they agreed to hire me, and I created a whole department for them. And it took me to different states and cities. And in the first 2 weeks, she got ill. And on my second week, I'd come home on the weekends, but on my second week of training out in Chicago, I got a phone call that I needed to come home, that mom was in the hospital, and that they didn't think she would last long. And they were sending me a plane, and my company sent me a limo, met me at the airport. My niece met me there, took me to the hospital, and I was a little too late. So when I arrived, she was pretty much out of it, and seeing things on the wall, talking to her mother, talking to others.
Your mom was seeing things on the wall and talking to beings
Yeah,
that weren't there. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and she was
Okay.
having conversations,
Uh-huh.
and she told me my mother's here, but she didn't know who I was. She didn't really recognize me,
Yeah.
and
That's a common
I
thing with
saw I
people who are
saw some.
passing on, by the way. That is a
Yeah,
common theme. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Turns out
Just,
it is, and
yep.
this was my first time experiencing
Mm-hmm.
anything like this,
Yeah.
and I didn't know quite what to make of it, but I saw shadowing and a change of light,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, maybe she is seeing something. But I had visions when I was younger, so
Mm-hmm.
I knew visions were possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as talking to spirits, I had done a little bit of ghost hunting, but not seriously, at
Mm-hmm.
the time. At the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, they took her away to be aspirated, and when she came back, she was in a coma. So I realized it was too late, and I was full of guilt
Mm-hmm.
because she had asked me not to go, and I did anyway, and I wasn't there for her final farewells. And so I had all this emotion going on, and my family was very upset at the doctors because they felt like they pushed it and killed her pushed her over the edge. But she was dying from small cell cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It was all over her body, so it wasn't the hospital's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, I didn't want to leave her side. And while I was standing there, the family was in another conference room figuring out what to do about life support. I couldn't partake in that discussion. I just couldn't. I'm the youngest, and I'm like,
It's kind of
they're all,
overwhelming, huh? It is an
yeah,
overwhelming
it was,
situation.
but I was standing there and I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm too late.
Mm-hmm.
And I started talking out loud through my thoughts. I'm just too late. And this hand reached around on my shoulder, and I thought it was one of my siblings or my dad or something. It's a very strong hand. And I went to look, and it wasn't the whole hand. It was just these four fingers right here. were on my shoulder, left shoulder, and it was a very gentle, warm feeling, like kind of like a vibration and heat, and a lot of love and compassion started filling me. And I asked, I'm too late, aren't I? There's so many things I wanted to tell her. There's so many things I wanted her to know. And I've missed my opportunity. And now she'll never know. And a message came through. In my head, I heard this voice. And I couldn't quite figure out what this voice was. And he said, um, he said, this is not the time for you to deal with these emotions. There will come a time in not so long in your future where we, the angels, will work with you to help you reveal a lot of truths that have been hidden within your family's knowing or denied. And she knew the truth, and yes, she knew you were here. And yes, she recognized you, and yes, she loves you, and yes, there's nothing to forgive. She knows you did what you had to do for the greater good of everyone concerned. But this is not the time. And today, you need to find peace in your heart because she's not suffering anymore. And you'll need to find that your touch and your voice meant something to her at the end. The family needs you right now. Your dad's going to need you. Your family's going to need your focus and your attention. So you need to let go, accept, and know that you're not alone. And just like we helped you before in that time in Atlanta, and we helped you with other things, we're still with you. And we're never not with you. And so when I got that message, you could feel the whole weight of the room just lift. And I saw flickering on the wall, shadows and flickering. So there were beings there.
Yeah, and you
that
see
were,
that a lot when
yeah,
when they're being channeled, when they're pulling that energy, you'll see that fluctuation. I've seen it
right,
time and time again. So that's a
right.
real thing. That's their energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they came at my cousin's deathbed too when I saw the orbs and the white
Mhm.
light. And so I've
Mhm.
been through this twice now, and then with my sister Marilyn.
Mhm.
So I now know the truth, that it's not a figment of my imagination brought on by stress,
Mhm.
because everything he said to me
Mhm.
has come to fruition 25 years later, and they used you and some others as a catalyst to get me there
Mhm.
in my expansion and ascension. But then once I was there, I was able to do the work with them, and a lot of truths have been revealed, and I've healed from it. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't experience them.
Mhm.
And I start my day out with the protection with Michael and with uh, Raphael, asking them to put that protection over me from any kind of physical harm. And I was going to say to Doug, Doug
Mhm.
keeps getting injured in his workshop.
Mhm.
If you start out your morning every morning and just breathe in and out a few times and just ask them to come into your presence, ask them to be with you throughout the day, and to cover you from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes in a shield of protection and love and compassion. See if that doesn't make a difference in how you approach your work during the day and how you're using your energy and the tools that you're using. And you might start noticing a difference in how your physical energy and etheric energy is interacting with the energy field around you at work. Because I used to stub my toe, bang my knee, trip over things, and I haven't had any of that lately. So, and I think
It's
it's because I know I'm protected.
yeah.
And because you've had those experiences, you have that faith and trust in spirit. And that's really the key here, is building up the trust with spirit, and understanding and knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
No one was more surprised than I was when I started dealing with this and the angelic realm. And it's very difficult to talk to with anybody else. And Eric kept telling me, find like-minded people. We need to get you with like-minded people, because you can't really share that with others that don't understand it first and
Yeah.
don't really believe. And even people in the chat room may have never experienced anything like that. So tell someone who says, well, I watched a lot of your shows, and I have asked for help, but I don't feel any help, and I don't see any help, and I'm not getting any help. Well, if you keep that attitude, that's exactly what you're going to get more of. So kind of keep that in mind. And also take responsibility for your thoughts. If you want to have a good day, if you want things to go well for you, you got to believe it. You've got to say it, and you've got to take that responsible outlook when you're
Yeah.
thinking about things. And that comes from controlling your thoughts. And that's one of the first things I learned with Eric, was control your thinking so that you're not attracting. That law of attraction will bring you a lot of whatever. So if you have grumpy stack, I've been a business owner. I know exactly. You're always worried about, are you going to make payroll? Is somebody going to get hurt? Do I got to pay for that? You're always doling out the money, and people think just because you own a business, you're rich. Well, that ain't true. It just means you're the facilitator of the money. That's all that means.
Yeah.
And if you're successful, then you're making money. But it is very difficult to make money when you have all these taxes and things you have to pay. Anyway,
Yeah.
I get
And
it, Doug.
Doug,
Get that.
up here on my mirror is another yellow sticky,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put it down in here if you can read it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can send it to you, but this one in particular is Michael, but sometimes I combine it with Raphael. Archangel Michael, the great protector and leader among angels, I ask you to surround me with a circle of pure white light from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. Fill this circle with protection, love, and healing. Keep my circle free from negative energies, and let it protect me from all kinds of danger. May all my angels be with me in everything I do today, and in all the days to come. I thank you and I love you all. And then I usually go into meditation with Nate for
Yeah.
a while, or
Mm-hmm. Well,
one of
what
the
works
others.
for some may not work for others.
Right.
And so
I
you
I know.
definitely want, yeah. So you would like to keep it simple. And this advice is for you, Doug. Keep things simple and come from a heart space, not the brain. Bypass the
Yeah.
brain and go to the heart, and come from the heart. Guys, guides, angels, whoever you are, whoever's listening, whoever is there to help me, just come in and help me with this, this, and this. Please, I'm just calling upon you for as much help as I can get, and come from a heart space and do it with gratitude and love in your heart, because you can't get it from here. It has to come from the heart space.
Yeah.
And heart consciousness is very attractive. And that will attract the angelic realm to come in. All right, you guys, let's kind of get into this. How do you define an angel? Sophia, I'd like to ask you, how do you define an angel?
Let's see, how would I define an angel? I would define, well, there's different types of angels, first of all. But for me, a definition of an angel is a benevolent spirit that has our highest and best. But in the same token, that also, being a spiritualist, that also describes my guides and my ancestors. And listening to the introduction, a couple thoughts that came forward, if I could interject.
Sure.
I feel that our culture in America, angels are acceptable. I mean, we put them on top of your Christmas tree, for crying out loud.
Yes.
I mean, they're on every Hallmark
That's true.
card.
You're not putting a thing of God up there, are you? You're putting an angel. Yeah.
Right. And I feel that they're protectors. I feel that they're messengers. I feel that I would, if we interpret interaction with spirit as angel, I feel that it's easier for people to build a relationship, because when I've had ancestors and my guides and my protectors intercede, if I didn't know any better, I would think that it was an angel. So I would, when you interact with spirit, like you had said earlier, with the law of attraction, what you put out is what you're going to get back. But for me, they're messengers, they're protectors, and they're very powerful. But they're probably for me like the gateway spirit, because once you have an interaction with an angel, you know, just like all the different crystals that we have,
So true.
you know, different kinds of energies. And I really don't think our guides mind being called angels until we know better, you know, until we unfold and evolve to a point to where we know exactly who we're talking to, and who is assisting us. But I mean, that's my long answer. Sorry.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Sophia.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that the angelic realm feels the same way about us. They put us kind of on a pedestal. They love us dearly, and so they kind of do the same thing with us. They think we're the ones that really should be on a pedestal because we're here on the Earth School going through the hard stuff. So they have so much love and respect for us for even being here. Go ahead, Sophia.
I'm of the persuasion that when we choose to navigate the physical world, the physical body, we are a divine spark of God.
Right.
Okay.
Full and part of God.
Right. Right. So I could see what you're saying by that, as far as them putting us on a pedestal, but I don't know. This is somewhat
like you're just like you're a sweet child and they're just like a parent and they're just doing everything to develop you and keep you safe and get you to be the best you can be and to learn your lessons, get through your karma and to graduate, so to speak. Sorry, Sophia, didn't mean to interrupt.
no. I guess going back to what I said just a little bit ago, I've been doing this for so long that I've interacted with so many entities, beings, elementals.
Yep.
A lot of them, if you don't know better, will think it's an angel.
Yeah.
But I don't think they mind as long as we're happy, healthy, and evolving and growing.
Right. Yeah. And discernment. You will learn the hard way how to have discernment. Trust and believe in that.
You don't, and that's why you don't have to scrape it off.
Yeah.
And you know, Sophia, that's why they don't necessarily insist on being given a name. You know, lots of times they'll come in and I'll say, "Who are you?" or their name doesn't matter to them. I don't think they care how you perceive them.
They really don't.
As long as it's on a high frequency energy of love and light, that's what they care about, is that you don't see them as a god, or that you don't put them in a worship situation.
Yeah, they don't like that. They are part of Source. Just
I see him as an equal, to be honest. I see him as an equal, to be honest. A partner, an equal. Yep. We're both sovereign.
We can't pronounce their names.
Yeah.
Just to be fair, we could not begin to pronounce their names. So whatever handle you need to give them, they'll generally roll with it.
Go with it.
When you interact with that kind of energy, it does provoke change. At least any interaction with an entity outside of myself.
Yeah.
It is life changing. It will. It will alter your experience.
Oh, it does. It does. Delabor, how about you? How do you define an angel? What's your definition?
Messenger.
Messenger of God.
Yeah, it's as a matter of fact, in the Bible, it even says that it's just a messenger of God, and I don't know if it's Greek or Hebrew, but in one of those languages,
It's
the word for
Hebrew, I
angel,
believe. Hmm.
yeah, the word for angel is messenger.
Yes.
So, so my personal experiences with angels have been, is surprisingly enough, kind of rare and practically non-existent, despite the fact that I've had every type of paranormal experience you can imagine, save for alien abduction. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean I haven't interacted with other beings just like Sophia, like ancestors, elementals, spirits,
Mm-hmm.
other entities that may or may not have been angels. But in tying that in with the theory that there may have been like a civilization that came before us that was more technologically advanced. It's interesting to note that all these angels' names end in L, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that the name angel actually means messenger. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what do we use as a messenger? Well, we use Skype, we use MSN Messenger, we use Zoom, we use all these different programs, right, to communicate. So, what if that was like the ancient civilization that came before us, this technologically advanced civilization's way of saying, a program for communication?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Because I've had the theory that some of these like magical incantations or spells or what have
mm-hmm.
you could be remnants of a programming language, because that is kind of like what programming languages look like when you look at them in pure text in ASCII.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like a
Interesting.
combination of gibberish, numbers, English
Mm-hmm.
fragments, so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth. So, from that, technological understanding, it could just be like some sort of an interface. But of course, given the fact that we know that spirits are real, gods are real, that there
Mm-hmm.
would be an intermediary being that acts as a conduit between the mundane world and the ethereal realms. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, no doubt
And
in my mind that they exist.
yeah, it's my opinion too that you don't have to be religious to believe in God and the angelic realm.
And
I
also,
haven't. Yep. Go
yes,
ahead.
I agree. And
Mm-hmm.
tying that in with like the Old Testament, in the Old Testament, it clearly says, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." In other
Mm-hmm.
words, we shouldn't be praying to God at all. We should be praying to them, to the angels, if you want to really
For
get
help.
technical about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, for assistance, because really that's what they're there for. They're there to
exactly.
assist you
To
in your
assist you.
life. Yeah,
Hmm.
because you come in with that veil of forgetfulness, you don't remember who you are. It's
Hmm.
like it's like here, drive a car with no experience at all whatsoever, no handbook, just get in the car, start the car and go. Well,
Hmm.
I don't know what to do first. It's just kind of that kind of a feeling, it's
Hmm.
you're
Yeah.
just, oh, here you go.
Yeah,
Have a
because
great.
in other words, you're commanding too high of a power by
Yeah.
invoking something as powerful as a god. It's just
Mhm.
like the oft repeated phrase, "God bless America." Well, God is a very powerful force, and
Mhm.
out of all the things God has created, America is just one tiny, teeny, tiny thing in the universe.
Mhm.
So why would this guy stop and say, "Okay, I'm just going to help this one little tiny thingy here," to the
Mhm.
detriment of everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the angel, that's a lot more personal because that's your angel, right? Your
Mhm.
guardian angel.
Mhm.
So, it's
And we
legitimate to
share
ask
them.
him.
We share them with others. It's not just mine on an
Sure,
individual. It just means that energy, that angel is helping me. That's
sure.
part of my team. Everyone has a team behind them. Whether you believe it or not, you have a team that's helping you. And
Hmm.
you you don't have to believe it, but
Hmm.
someday you'll know. You'll absolutely know. How about you, Grandpa Brian? How do you define an angel in your mind?
Unconditional love.
I love
Their
that.
unconditional love for humanity. They want
Mhm.
us to succeed, to be the best version of us that we can be. And they help guide us.
Mhm.
And I know there's times where a couple serious car accidents, I know they were with me to make sure that I was safe and okay. And they watched
Oh,
over me
yes.
until I got the proper care that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually feel the love that they were giving me at that time. You're going to be okay. Just we're with
Yeah.
you.
Yes. And that leads into the next question, and I'll stay with you, Grandpa Brian. How often do you experience their love?
Every day. I mean, that's why I live in unconditional love, because I know they're giving me unconditional love. No matter what I do, they're going to love me. So why not live that same way that they do?
Mm-hmm.
Just unconditionally love people, and
Yeah. I feel
it's
their
simple.
love. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I can
feel
feel
their
it.
love. I get love bombs a lot. And it's a very it hits me in the solar plexus. It makes me extremely emotional. I tear up. I almost want to cry. That's how pure that love is. So you can just imagine if God was around you, you probably as a human being would have a very, very hard time, if not impossible time, being around that much love energy. But I feel it in the solar plexus. And I also, when my angel is around, I feel tingling on the left side of my head and back around my shoulder, all through here, almost like that spider webby feel. And then I get the emotional and my eyes well up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I know it's them. I just
Yep.
know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, do you, Brian, do you see auras?
Uh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's I have to get myself into that position. I mean, I just don't like,
Mm-hmm.
go around saying, "Oh, I can see your aura."
Yeah.
I really don't try to look at people's auras without their permission, because I don't want to infringe
Mm-hmm.
on someone. So
Well, I'm speaking more of like an angelic aura. Have you ever experienced an angelic aura?
I'm not sure if I have or not. Uh, just
Mm-hmm.
I because I don't think I've ever seen an angelic aura,
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't tell you whether I've seen one or not.
Right. How about you, Sophia? Have you any experience with an angelic aura? I know you have a lot of connection, a lot of different types of connections. Do you see auras?
I do see auras. What I put out there is I only want the information that I'm supposed to have. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like Brian was saying, it's an ethical thing. I'm not, if I see something, it's because I'm supposed to see it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
As far as an angelic aura, I haven't really heard that terminology before,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say when I'm doing a reading, I can definitely tell when someone is Christian and when someone subscribes to angelic or angel energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. It's more of a feel than a see when it
Yeah, I
comes
get the
to people.
feeling. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't typically. But Teresa, how about you? I know that you're able to see auras. Have you seen the angelic auras?
Only a couple of times. They don't
Really?
manifest. They don't manifest in a physical
Mm-hmm.
human form. I think I've told you before. Sometimes when I go on those walks by the lake or in the woods, out of the corner of my eye, I'll get a column of light or a flash of light, and something tries to appear through the trees, and it's usually a bright light of some kind. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
start to see the outline of a humanoid form, but it doesn't take full humanoid form.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Did
have,
can I
I
can I
have,
ask you, does the form kind of look like a hood? Is it more of a like an outline of a hooded shape and like shoulders? Do you get that kind of a look to it?
at first you get this burst of energy, like
Okay.
pure burst of light.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to form into what you're describing.
Okay.
And lots of times they will have a hood. Um, I don't see wings and feathers. That's,
Mm-hmm.
but I see the beginnings of the outline of a human, more humanoid type form. I'll pick up colors of. I'll see outlines of clothing like a tunic, or sometimes I'll see some color like
Mm-hmm.
red or purple. some green. It just depends on which one I'm interacting with. Mary comes through with a lot of blues.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're not angels, though. Sometimes they're my other guides. So it goes back
Yeah,
to what
so
Sophia's saying,
it's
depending on
hard
what
to
you're,
differentiate, huh?
what you're tuning into. And
Mhm.
I've had visions where they've manifested in visions
Mm-hmm.
where I'm fully awake. And so to me, there's a difference between just walking around and bumping into something. Oh, you must be an angel. I have had interactions with angels in human form,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing they were angels at the
That they
time.
were actually, yeah. Makes me
I,
wonder how many
yeah,
times
so
I've actually experienced it and just didn't know it.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
don't
same
see it
here.
that often, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not every day, and it's not every time I communicate with them. They just show up at sometimes in that way. To
Mm-hmm.
me, it's at key points.
Yes.
It's not
Um,
just when you're frustrated or when
yeah,
you have anxiety.
right, right. When I was getting into meditation and the first, I don't know, month or so I was meditating, I kept getting these images and they would come in threes. And it was always this hooded figure with the shoulders. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
see their face, but they would all
Yeah,
three come at me just like all of a sudden like this. And I was like
yeah,
a little overwhelmed and it would snap me out of my meditation. But it was
yeah,
like a blink of an eye. And I thought that is really something.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
But you see, I think that when my understanding of them is like you, it's a
mhm,
full partnership.
it
To
is.
me, to me, they are brothers and sisters. And parts of us are infused with their energy because they interacted with the development early on of mankind when
Mhm. Earth
mankind
angels.
was first coming into being and developing the forms that we have now.
Mhm.
They infused us with their soul energy and essence. And so we are part of them and they are part of us. We're connected in that way, to my way of knowing things, and in
Mhm.
traditional esoteric teachings as well.
Mhm.
But like anthroposophy and theosophy and so forth. But um, they, I see them as an extension of Source itself. Now, when I say God to people, I'm not talking about the Abraham God or the God of the Christian Bible.
God source consciousness.
God source consciousness is what I'm referring to. And so that vibration is when we fell into matter to have the human experience,
Mhm.
uh, to the earth school, we lost that ability to have a direct connect with that higher because it's at such a high frequency. So to me, our brothers and sisters that are still in the hierarchy that did
Mhm.
not manifest in human form are, as Dalibor was describing, some type of an intermediary, although I don't see it with the technology reference, um,
Mhm.
but they're a frequency vibration that opens that, keeps that cord that we have as divine spirits. That divine spirit connection to source is mediated by intermediaries that can help us raise our consciousness and raise our frequency at times when we need it the most, to receive, as Sophia says, whatever messages we are meant to receive
Mhm.
at the time that we receive them, or we can go and ask for guidance. And we interact with different types of beings and different planes of multi dimensions. And they're all aspects of self, but they're not us. They're aspects of us, but they're related to us like cousins, brothers, sisters.
Yeah, I see
And
them
so
as
I
brothers and sisters. Yep.
yeah, so I don't
Mhm.
see them as an otherworldly entity. I don't see them as aliens.
Mhm.
I see them
Mhm.
as part of the energy source and helping us to maintain that connection to source, to get the guidance and serve our purpose and be the best we can be. They're there out of pure love and energy and trying to help guide us. And the reason I, later, when you get around to it, Laurie, there's a reason I have these three angels. They each represent a part of my character, a part of my soul's evolution, as to
Mhm.
why I am who I am because of
Mhm.
their interaction with me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They
Yep.
choose me as much as I choose them.
Absolutely. I agree
But
with you.
yeah, you're right about the fact that they interact with technology, because that would
Mm-hmm.
be one of the ways that they would communicate to us in the modern era.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah,
w-
I would
with
agree.
Yeah, which means
Mm-hmm.
that they can also interact with the world of finance. And what I'm
Oh,
getting at
there.
here,
Oh, definitely.
what I'm getting at is yes, I have been helped anonymously by an unknown entity, and
Yeah.
financially, because I may have told you about this, but for about 2 years I was receiving anonymous postal money order payments, significant every single month at the same time for no reason. I mean, I even launched an investigation into it. They could never find out who was sending the money. It's just that every single month I was getting money for about a year and a half. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I never figure out who was sending it or why,
And I
and
don't know
nobody
about
else
the
could
rest
either.
of you. I don't know about you, Dalibor or Sophia, but they had never tell me what to do, how to
Hmm.
act, or how
Yeah.
to behave.
Hmm.
They don't make demands of me.
That's the
They
wrong
help
kind of
answer
angel.
right. They help answer questions. I think they're here to remind us of our purpose, to remind us of our divinity, to let us know that that connection is still there.
Hmm.
And no matter how cut off we feel in this
Hmm.
material world and all the things that are going on, once we've experienced that noetic quality of awareness
Hmm.
that they're there, we can tap
They
into
fully
them,
support us.
fully
Absolutely.
support us, and we don't have to invoke them and command them. And there's a bunch of people that still believe that these interdimensional beings that we use as guides are servitors or tulpas or some kind of magical power that we can wield. And I command you, Archangel Michael, to show up at this date, this time, and do exactly my bidding. Oh, hell no, that's not how it works. That is
Hmm.
so not how it works. And if you've got one interacting with you that way, in my way of thinking, it's not the energy that I want to interface with.
Well, in my
Because
dealings, yep. In my dealings with the angelics, they never tell you anything negative.
mm-mm,
They're fully supportive of you. They they can recommend, they'll suggest, but they'll never tell you how to do anything. They always want it to be your decision and what you choose. Go ahead, Sophia.
I would like to interject some context. So, just because I'm on a very different path than what I
Mm-hmm.
started with my spirituality. But let's roll into the New Testament for a minute, shall we, kids?
Why not?
If the very first thing that they're going to say about an angel,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
if an energy requires a preamble,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
let's get some context here.
uh-huh,
You know, when I interact with an angelic energy, it is when I am invoking, which equals invite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's for protection. Here at camp, we invoke the archangels for the circle of protection. I've used other forms of
Mm-hmm.
protection that we're not going to get into because it's out of scope
Mm-hmm.
for this particular topic. But I would say we're not better than them. They're not better than us. But when you interact with something of that magnitude, um, you need to tuck your ego and realize the gravity of what you're doing. And if you're demanding, which is evoking, which is a different creature,
Mm-hmm.
you better be able to cash that check or you're going to look real stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll
mm-hmm,
probably have to answer for it eventually.
Yeah, but just the fact that in the Bible, anytime it mentions an angel, there's a lot of times where it says, like you said, do not be afraid of me. Well, what does that indicate? That indicates that the being probably has a very frightening appearance.
Well,
Something that would instinctively invoke fear if you were to see it in a different context, like, well, I don't know, an alligator.
I would say it's more okay. So when I interact with different energies, the gravity in the room changes. Okay, sometimes it's up, sometimes it just depends on what I'm doing. And trying to put myself in that position, it was so irregular, and so different from what they ever. Well, let's talk about the shepherds, shall we? That's one that everybody pretty much knows because they show up at Christmas and Easter and they talk about it. But
Hmm.
but fear not,
Hmm.
behold. So
Yeah.
basically they're saying don't be scared and pay attention. So in some interpretations, people get on their faces
Hmm.
Hmm.
because they're intimidated by the energy. They don't understand what
Right.
they're dealing with.
That key point there, they don't understand the energy. That's exactly
Right.
why we're here
Hmm.
tonight discussing it and talking about it.
Right. And the other thing is I don't take scripture literally because people are doing the best they could to write down what they understood at that time of consciousness and humanity. And during that time, there were a lot of rituals and practices where things were a little scary to some people. And so these beings just show up unexpectedly on your doorstep with messages from above. And people are like, oh my God, so they're
Mm-hmm.
saying, calm down,
Right.
relax, chill. I'm just bringing a message. I know I'm bright in my appearance or dark in my appearance, but don't let that frighten you. I'm here to help. So I
Right.
think that was the intention of those stories, was to let people know that there's something you can interact with that's outside of self, yet part of you in your connection with that which is greater. So that's another way
Hmm.
of looking at it, Galibor.
Mm.
It's not necessarily that they were seeing scary things, but that in that
Hmm.
time of human development, to have something just pop up when they were so far disconnected from
Yeah,
source
yeah.
that
Somebody,
it was frightening.
something that just teleported into their room or something. Yeah, that would be
It could
Mm.
frightening.
be. It could be
Yeah.
frightening. Yeah.
I know the
Hmm.
message that they really want to put out is just to eradicate the fear in your own mind. Remember who you are and come home to your heart consciousness. Instead
Yeah.
of using your brain all the time because of the ego, um, if you're always coming from a heart space, like you see somebody in distress and they need help, you just automatically are there to help them. If you're coming from that space, it's a completely different experience than coming from the mind space.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
they want you to know the difference between the two, that they're
Hmm.
two separate places to come from. What are you going to choose? Are you going to come from the head space or are you going to come from the heart space? And
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
only for others, but for yourself. And the biggest lesson I learned through all of this was how to love myself and self love. And there's just not enough of that going around. Accept yourself for who and what you are. Know that
Yeah.
you are perfect, whole, and complete. You're perfect as you are, that you're an infinite being, that you're going to continually learn and expand. And don't take life so seriously. Just don't take it so seriously. Lighten up a bit
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
come from the
Right.
heart space and just do
Yeah.
that more often instead of the other, because we all feel like we get in our daily routines, things are going a certain way, you feel like things aren't going to change, but when you do that, you're not really living in the moment, that present moment like we're in right
Hmm.
now. We're just in a moment and we're enjoying it and
Hmm.
we're expressing it. um, don't be in such a rush to get the day over. Try to live in the moment and just be a divine being of love and light, and a human who's experiencing the earth school.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
that's really their biggest message. And people don't have compassion for themselves unless they're seen and heard. So everybody wants to be seen and heard. If there's
Hmm.
somebody having a bad day, let them vent a little bit. Let them
Hmm.
be.
Yeah.
Show some compassion for someone instead of just
Hmm.
dismissing them.
That
Mm-hmm.
requires being selfless, which is
That's what I'm
also a
saying.
process.
Self-love. And that is,
Mhm.
boy, my throat
Mhm.
chakras really, yeah, I got you.
Good.
I did it. I got you guys.
You know,
They really wanted to express that.
And
they
you got
have a
that blue
very
background behind you, and blue is the color of the throat chakra.
there
Yeah,
you
I can
go.
feel it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They have what I've come to find a very indirect way. Well, unless it's a crisis or an emergency situation where it requires them to intervene on your behalf because it's not your time yet, you know. But in other ways, on a daily basis, they have a very indirect way of intervention on my behalf. It's always in perfect alignment with my agreements and why I'm here. I just don't always notice it or realize it at the time until I've gone through it and then look back on it and go, oh, that's what you were doing. And then I'll go to them and say, is that what your game plan was? Is that what you were trying to tell me? And it's always a nudge. It's always before you make that choice to do that, think about this, or a thought will pop in, what are you doing?
Hmm.
Or another thought
It's
will
so
pop in,
subtle,
you don't
right?
want to
It's
go
like a
there again, do
whisper.
you? Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
It's
sometimes they'll
subtle.
do it through somebody else. Sometimes they'll do it through a Brian or a Dalibor or Karen or Laurie
Yeah. I'll tell.
to tell me to go
Yeah.
ahead, Laurie.
I'm sorry. I have to tell you this. If you want to test spirit, do it in a subtle way. Ask for something really simple, like I want to see a marble today. Just out of nowhere, I want to see a marble, or show me the best way home. Just and then whatever you hear in your mind, left, right, whatever, and it's like a whisper. It's not going to shout at you, but they're going to say, "Turn right here," or "Make a
Yeah.
left right here." And you have to just be open to
Mhm.
hearing it. But start
Yeah.
with something small and see what happens. Just put it out there, because I guarantee you this, they are aware of your thoughts. Your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are not your own.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Most of
repeat
the
that.
time.
Your thoughts your
Sometimes.
thoughts are not your own.
Depends on
Yeah, I
who.
Not
mean,
the truth.
you
Not
don't
the
have an exclusive on when you think a thought that you're the only one that hears it. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
yeah.
Your
You're not
thoughts are
alone in your
heard.
you're not
Mhm.
alone
Yeah.
in your head, and no,
Yeah,
Yeah. You're
they're
broadcasting.
yep.
you're
That's
broadcasting, and the thing is, but it's important to understand that they're still your thoughts.
mhm.
Mhm.
They're not being controlled by anything else's thoughts.
It's just like your
Yeah,
voice. It's
yep.
just like your
They
voice. Your
might know
voice
what's
is your
going
own.
on, but yeah,
Mhm. That's
yeah,
right,
you're in
Chloe.
control
You got it.
of
Mm.
yourself. You're in control of
Yep.
yourself and how you react to them.
Right. And the
Um,
other thing that they told me was, you are a sovereign being. That was the first thing they pounded into me was, you're nothing, you are a sovereign free being, and no one and nothing can command you to do anything. And if you're in a place in the world where you're dominated by other forces, that's a temporary situation. Because
yeah.
when you leave the earth, you are completely and totally free to do whatever
Yeah.
you choose to do on an infinite scale. It will never end, it will never stop. You will always be expanding.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
when you know that, you're not afraid of death, you're not afraid of dying. You don't see death the same way that others see it. You're not afraid of it. You understand it, and that's important to remember.
Now, there
Mm.
are characteristics that are energy frequencies and characteristics that these beings have, and how you label them or what you
Mm.
call them. But for instance, I have one, the one that you see behind me in red. I refer to him as Nate. He's actually Archangel Nathaniel.
Mhm.
That's how I label him, but I don't have to label him at all. The important thing is about his energy is that I know the truth of his assignment to me since the beginning because of all the different lifetimes I've had. But he is, it's gift of God. He's like, I'm a gift to you from the God source to help bring the best out in you. He specializes in bringing out petite people's potential and their expression through art and their creative activities. And so he's the one that I've always worked with to help others bring that out as a human resource counselor or as a manager at work,
Those are his
developing.
qualifications. Those are his
Exactly.
qualifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what he does. And he works with both Laurie and I continuously on the collaboration of creation of different things. He's worked with me with my art. He works with her with hers. And
They
with
have
the
a hand in
videos.
these shows we do.
Yeah.
The topics that we pick and choose are
Yeah.
all divinely guided. We are being divided by our team, and we take it very seriously.
Now the one in green, who appears in green in front of the waterfall, that's how I see him as part of nature. That is who I have chosen to give the label of Raphael. But Raphael could be anything. That's just a name I give to it. It comes from the Bible, but I don't necessarily adhere to all the descriptions as
It's really the
dictated in the
energy.
Bible. It's the energy, and his energy is shared with what is known in some Christian communities as Holy Spirit, or the healer, or
Well, he's wearing
earth energy,
green, and green is
nature,
the
earth.
Healing.
that's the heart chakra.
Uh-huh.
Green, he's wearing green, and green is the heart chakra. And that Nate guy, he's wearing red, and that's the root chakra.
Well, it also represents fire, and energy, and
Sure.
purification fought by
Oh, yeah.
fire. But the green, yes, it represents the healing energy and the Christos spirit that was in Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus. That angel essence is what helps bring that energy back into my memory and consciousness. And that's why so many of my past lives have involved healing. I've been a healer in many of my past lives, not so, and even in this lifetime, as in the ENT. So that angel energy has been with me for a very long time. It carries through from lifetime to lifetime.
Right.
So I'm just giving you a couple of examples. There's many others. And I don't entertain rituals per se to bring them in, but some people do set up an altar. Some people not for worship, but to light their incense, to go. Sometimes ritual helps you focus, just like mantras help you focus. And it's an invocation, but it's not an evocation. It's not a commandment. I'm calling on you for your assistance. And sometimes people find that a ritual pattern is very helpful in doing that. But I don't particularly do that. Go ahead, Laurie.
We have a question, Ray. So I have a question. I always questioned it when people said, worship only God and no other thing, or something like that. But if everything is God, why do they say to only worship him?
Because they're wrong. Because every holy book was written by man, and every man is fallible, right? Therefore, every holy book, quote unquote, is fallible. It is not the
In
word
my
of
mind,
God.
it's about control. It's just a way to control the masses, to get them, because you got to remember this last epoch, and we're coming out of it, is a patriarchal epoch. And so that's where the control comes from. Do as I say, not as I do, yada, yada. But for me, why do they say only worship him? Well, try worshiping yourself. What's wrong with a little bit of self-love and worshiping yourself? That is something that we're lacking as a society. People don't think enough of themselves. They think that they have to give so much just to get, I mean, it's easier to give. Like, I have a family. I got to give this. I got to do this. At the end of the day, I'm tired. I don't have any time for myself. You got to make time for yourself. You have to place the importance on yourself. Go ahead, Teresa.
Well, I just wanted to add to that question about the worship. You see, again, that comes from a period in history, in time, long, long ago, when humankind had evolved to a certain level of understanding. They had fallen away from the knowing of their own spiritual divinity into one of developing religions to produce structure. And then once they produced those religions, all kinds of dogma and rules inserted by man, as
Right.
Delabor just said,
Mm-hmm.
influenced that scripture. So people take it literally in today's consciousness. There's no room for it because we think differently. We've evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming out of that worship mode into an understanding and awakening itself and acknowledging our own divinity within the God source, not a separate from it, but within it. And
Well,
so
we're moving in.
there is no need for worship and sacrifice any longer
Mm-hmm.
because we've grown out of that.
Mm-hmm.
We've evolved out of that into a knowing
Yep.
of who we are and what our divine purpose is. And part of that awakening is connecting again back to source, where we came from as spirits. And so that's why you see all these references in ancient manuscripts, because that's what their thinking was at the time.
Right. Nowadays, we're coming into the divine feminine, which is this ascension that we're going
Right.
through right now. Things have shifted and changed.
Right.
Let's look at my parents. They come from the silent era. They're the silent generation. I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah.
They're patriarchal. I came in to kind of follow into this divine feminine. So I think things have really shifted, and we need to kind of go with that flow and begin to understand that that time is over. That epoch has come and gone, and now it's time to embrace what we're doing now, and that is opening ourselves up, more love, more light, more of, treating people the way you want to be treated, loving your fellow man, loving your animals, loving the earth, having respect for yourself, having respect for the earth. And it really starts with each person on an individual level.
Sophia, did you have something you want to?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I've
Sophia.
got plenty to say.
Oh, well, let's
Yeah,
hear
I-
it, girlfriend.
I've been
Let's
hearing
hear
your
it.
sighing. I've been hearing I've been getting the energy. I'm feeling it. So go
Yo,
ahead.
Rocky, you emotional meatball. Good to have you with us.
What's
So
going on,
true.
Rocky? Right on.
Mhm.
I don't worship per se.
Mhm.
I commune. Okay.
I like that.
This is a slippery slope for the whole
But
world
I like
to
where you're
see.
going. You got to do it.
I would.
Just do it.
I am not Christian, okay? I
Yes,
don't
I'm
bend
not either.
my knee to anybody or
There you go.
anything.
Mhm.
Period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not
If
that there's
you
anything
require
wrong if
me-
you are Christian. We
No,
respect that.
be Christian, dude. If
Yeah.
you're happy, healthy, and
But I
growing,
can't
rinse,
do it.
repeat, man.
Yes, I can't do it.
But it just pisses me off when people think that they need to bow to something.
Mhm.
Stand in your strength, stand in your power. If you're a spark of source, lift up your head and release the lies and the guilt and the subservient bull crap that was so popular for millennia. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
Yes.
And
Take
then
control.
the only and some people that have not seen and or experienced what is my life, not every other day, it's
Mhm.
every day. Okay,
Right.
kids,
I like that.
I would just
Mhm.
stand in your truth and the breath and the heartbeat. Don't bow your head. No one is any better or any less than you. Physical, non-physical, energy, dryad. I mean, you're setting
We're all
yourself
cut
up
from the
for
same cloth.
you set yourself up for failure when you think you're less than. If you feel you're less than, that's some serious shadow work. I lived in that
Absolutely.
energy for too long. That's why it still irks me when people are just like, "Oh, do for me, do for me, do for your damn self. Quit playing with it."
And who else is going to do it but you?
Thank
No
you.
one's going to do it for you. You have to do it, and you have to place some
Sorry I
importance
got
on that.
animated, but it just
No,
ticks me
Sophia,
off
No,
when
I feel you.
I feel the
feel it.
same way,
Ooh.
Sophia.
Mhm.
Same way.
Yep. Yep.
It never
Yeah.
felt right to me, even as a
Man.
child. Even
Mhm.
as a child, in like my first Holy Communion when I was in the third grade, it's just like, what are we doing? You
Mhm.
know,
Hmm.
the
Well,
only time I felt
religion.
comfortable with worship was when I was with the Pentecostals because they were
Mhm.
so free to express
That's one
themselves through
word
song.
for it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they were so full of charisma and so full, and I really got into it there for a while, and
Mhm.
and I really did praise Jesus, and there's nothing wrong with that, providing you don't subjugate yourself and say, okay, I can honor him
Right.
and I can praise him for his glorious deeds or
Sure.
his education and his training and his
Mhm.
value to us, but I don't lay my life down
Right.
in subjugation.
Hope has a really good comment here.
Yeah,
The angels always bring love and light and want you to realize your own divinity regardless of beliefs and or religion.
right.
That's what we're trying to say. Hope, thank you for putting it into words because
I
that
would say
truly is
I
what
would
we're
go.
trying to say
I
here.
would go a step above and just say, if there is a God, religion is the enemy of that God, and vice
Well,
versa.
religion had its place.
Yep.
I respect people who choose to have religion in their
Mm,
life. And if that helps you and if that brings you peace and if that allows you to
Yeah.
learn and grow, that's
mm,
wonderful for you. Personally, it's not for me. I've never been
Right.
religious. I don't have any
mhm,
indoctrinations. I don't have any understanding of it. I just don't. That's not my path. But I respect others who do 110%. And you do what's best
Yeah.
for you, just as I'm going to do what's best for me.
Right.
So
And
no one's
everyone
saying it's right or wrong. We're just,
and
it's this or
everyone is
that.
welcome here. Everyone is welcome
mhm.
here.
Absolutely.
We
Yes.
create a space for
We
it doesn't
respect
matter
everyone,
if
even
you
if you don't
belong to a
respect
religion.
us.
Yeah.
See, the only reason I say that is because religion is ultimately, when you strip it of the ritual, the hats, all that stuff. Ultimately, it's an ideology, and there
Yeah.
is no single ideology that has ever benefited humanity as such, ever.
Yeah. I
None.
I agree with Desert Rose. God to me
Hmm.
is energy within the light spectrum.
Hmm.
God is exactly what you see it as. It's your interpretation. I agree. I love that. That's
Beautiful.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, it is beautiful. Thank you for that comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect is given. Trust is earned. That's exactly how
Hmm.
it works.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with the angelic realm, you have to earn their trust just as they're earning your trust. And
Yeah.
take it seriously. Take it seriously and be honest with yourself first and foremost and honest with others. And if you can't be completely honest, don't say anything.
That's right.
Don't even say a word,
That's right.
you know?
Hmm.
Mm. Oh, here's
Yeah.
another good comment.
That's good.
Ray,
Yeah,
God to
Ray.
me is God to me is the connection of all duality, both negative and positive, creation, yin and yang. Absolutely, because we're both.
Yep.
We are both, and it's just how you choose to live your life, how you choose to treat others, yourself. This all comes around. It really does.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, good one. Good comment. Lots of good comments. Well,
Sorry I
you
got
guys,
animated, but I've just
don't
seen
apologize.
so many
Mm,
people,
mm-hmm.
it just
Yeah.
it fires me up
Yeah,
because the only person that can tap into your potential is you. And
right.
if you're busy, do for me,
Mm-hmm.
if you
Hmm.
need support, that's a sword, that's a thought. Turn
Mm-hmm.
it into a wand. That's action, that's creation, that's destruction. Put the emotion into it. I mean, I'm just sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a moment. I'll
Don't
get
be
past
sorry.
it.
Yeah, that's what we love about you, Sophia, is that you bring that, you just
Well,
bring the
you're
other
honest.
aspect, and you're honest, and you bring
You're
that
honest.
aspect in. So
Yep.
I
Hmm.
Yeah.
embrace it. I want to hear it. Yeah, I want to know that.
I just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you aren't truthful, just lying to yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Spirit just
You know
wants
the
us to
truth.
communicate with them. You know,
Absolutely.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, you know, it's so liberating to be on the path, the religious, because Asatru is a type of religion. Spiritualism is a religion, a philosophy, and a science.
Agreed.
And just because it's a religion doesn't mean it's a control. It just means it has parameters.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just, some people get hung up on dated, antiquated forms of interaction. And I hung out with the Pentecostals. It was non-denominational UPC roots, but I was able to get into an ecstatic state, to where my monkey mind, my to-do list mind on the physical world, it had to sit back and shut up for a minute so I could connect with source.
Mm-hmm.
And when you allow that and you unfold, you become very powerful. But with that power comes responsibility. The goal is not power. The goal is to edify yourself and those around you, to be in service, to
Mm-hmm.
get outside of yourself and be part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that have
Absolutely.
been Superman punched by somebody's ego, and I'm sick of it. I'm
Yeah.
sick of it.
Yeah, I'm
Stand up
tired of it
and
too.
no.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry,
And
I'm just woo. I'm
judging
wound up tonight.
and expectations. Try not to
Mm-hmm.
judge others. Do your best
I
not to
don't want that
judge.
responsibility.
Don't have any expectations. Go with the flow. But there is something that I'd like to do tonight. I know there are a lot of people out there that really need some healing and some love sent their way. And I
Right?
would ask that all of us on the panel, the 5 of us here tonight, could send out some major, major healing to people who are
Mm-hmm.
watching or who will watch this. And just know that the end, and my whole left side just lit up. Yep, I got you guys. They want me to send healing, okay? Healing, love, and light. If you all would just join me in this quick, and we'll send it out to you folks.
Mm-hmm.
In the infinity of life, where we are in this very moment, we send all of our brothers and sisters the love they need, the support and caring that they are searching for. Know that you have our love and are guided from the divine energies, that everything you ever need in your life will be there for you. And please know that you are loved beyond compare, and that we're sending you so much love and light that you'll feel this energy, because it is truth and it comes from our hearts. So please, please enjoy this feeling of immense love and support, because you are greatly loved and greatly supported. With
Right.
all our love and all we have to give you, you are always in our hearts.
So it is, and so it shall be. Yep. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you
Mhm.
for that.
Man.
Giddy up.
Love you all watching.
Hey, listen,
Um,
I don't know if you all caught it or not, but on the Andromeda channel was a spirit message that Laurie released yesterday, was it? Or the day before?
Yeah.
A
With Hope Up
collaboration.
Church. Go ahead, Teresa.
That's okay. It was a
No, you go.
collaborative effort between our new friend, Hope Upchurch, and her friend, Michael Smith. And they worked on, Hope channels the message. She's a trance channeler. She channeled the message from the angels and created a song, and gave that to Michael Smith, who produced the voiceover, the voice and music behind the angel voices, as well as the musical composition. And they shared it with Laurie, and Laurie created the video, a music video out of it, and we released it. And we've had 77 views so far, maybe more by now. And it's actually a blessing Hope was giving to Michael. Michael's battling cancer himself, and is unable to sing right now, but he did a beautiful job. He has a wonderful voice, and it comes from his heart. And it's a
It was so
blessing for
beautiful.
anyone. It's about releasing fear letting go of all fear and doubt, and just increase that divine, the divinity within, and increase that divine love. So it's a beautiful video. Go watch it when you get a chance. We have a link to it here, don't we? I think we do.
We do have a link.
I'm not sure if it's in our
I'll
YouTube
tell you what,
description or
I
not.
am going to play this. So
Yeah, it's only a couple minutes.
let
Yeah.
us all just say good night from here. I'll play it and then
Yeah.
we'll close out the show that way. But this, you guys, is incredible. Please listen to it. Take it to heart. See how it makes you feel when you're done. We want you all to have a wonderful weekend. Just hold some love for yourself and for others, okay? Come from that heart space. But I'm going to go ahead and play this, and we'll take it out from here. All right? Here we go,
Good night,
folks.
everyone.
Yep. Fear no
Bye-bye.
more. Fear no more.
All fear release, divine love, increase, increase. All fear release, divine love, increase, increase, increase. Trust that you are safe, and you are never alone. Bathed in love and light, as angels surround and enfold. All fear release, divine love, increase, increase. All fear release, divine love, increase, increase, increase. Know that you're amazing. Fear no more. Be the best that you can be. Live and love in the moment, and let your love shine brightly. All fear release, divine love, increase, increase. All fear release, divine love, increase, increase, increase. All fear release, divine